What's up, YouTube? I haven't made a video in kind of a while. The last video I made was just of Matt and I's vacation to Texas and our powerlifting competition there. But I haven't made an actual like sit down face-to-face like real talk video with you guys in a while. If you haven't been to my channel in a while, I got a new camera. It's a Canon G7X, that's what it is. And it's awesome, so I'll have better content for you guys. And you'll enjoy watching my videos a little bit better, I think. Oh my gosh, it's like hurricane storming outside. I live in Florida, so it's like 1 minute it's sunny and then the next minute it's like legit hurricane. Like the wind right now is ridiculous. Anyways, so I had a few minutes just to talk to you guys about something that I've kind of been like dealing with myself personally lately, so I figured it'd be a good topic to kind of talk about. But what I wanted to talk about today was kind of the faults or the problems with If It Fits Your Macros, flexible dieting, etc. So I know that a lot of you do follow If It Fits Your Macros, flexible dieting, as do I, and it's been a great tool for me. Obviously, it's the best tool to use while prepping to know exactly how much macros you're intaking, calories you're intaking. It's really the best approach for really any type of person because it's very maintainable. It teaches you portion sizes so that down the road somebody can switch over into intuitive eating. Oh my gosh, it's like legit a hurricane outside. Anyways, but there is some faults in it that I myself have personally like struggled with, and then that I've seen other people struggle with as well. So if you don't know what flexible dieting or If It Fits Your Macros is, it's basically counting your calories. But instead of counting actual calories, it's just counting proteins, carbs, and fats, which those all equal up to calories. But the advantage of it over calories is that most people that would just count calories would not get sufficient protein intake. They might just like fill their macros with like crap foods and nothing really like nutritious, although people with If It Fits Your Macros do that too, which I'm going to talk about. But the main thing of counting macros is really to make sure you have a sufficient amount of fats, carbs, and protein ratios for your body, for your goals, etc. So you're not just blindly eating whatever macros. Okay, so it's very easy. Everybody uses mainly like MyFitnessPal. I do. Becomes super easy to like estimate things too down the road as you continue tracking. It's great for prep. As you are prepping for a show, you can know exactly where you're pulling those calories from, whether it be from carbs or fats. Protein should stay constant and sometimes is increased during prep. So it's kind of an easier tool than just saying, oh, hey, like take out a sweet potato of meal 5. Like you're taking out, hey, 30 grams of carbs from your daily intake, not necessarily just a specific meal or specific food source. Flexible dieting, there's no food limitations at all. You can eat whatever you want within your macronutrient range. I personally keep like an 80-20 range, so 80% all nutritious, whole foods, organic foods, and then 20% like my serving of Ben & Jerry's that I love, or my Lenny and Larry's cookie or whatever. I have a major sweet tooth, so like 20% is normally like sweets for me. But there are some faults with having that availability to know that no food is a bad food, because you kind of, it's like you switch off in your brain from thinking, okay, I have to eat healthy foods to be fit and healthy for my life, insides, outsides. Yes, you learn that obviously no, you don't need to restrict foods to reach your fitness goals, which that is very freeing. I mean, like I myself have struggled with an eating disorder for 3 years, so I understand the freedom that comes with flexible dieting and not labeling foods as good or bad. But it becomes an issue when you're just fitting in whatever you want because you can. So that's my issue number 1 with flexible dieting, is fitting in things into your macros, just unhealthy food all the time, or just fitting in things because you can, not necessarily because you want it or because you're experiencing a craving. It's kind of just like, oh, well, hey, you know, I can eat whatever the heck I want, so for breakfast I'm gonna have a piece of chocolate cake and like Fairlife milk so I get my protein in, you know? Like instead of actually eating like a nutritious breakfast, like eggs, avocado, fruit, like whole grains. Not saying that the cake and Fairlife milk is bad for you and is gonna like kill you, but at the same point, like it's not being stupid with your macronutrients and actually caring about your internal health and like what's optimal for your body to function properly. So that's my first issue. Me personally, I've dealt with that and I'm still dealing with that sometimes. Like I'll have days even now where like all I want to eat is like junk food, like not junk food necessarily, but like things that aren't like necessarily the most nutritious. Like I'll find myself sometimes also too, if I'm having like an extremely busy day and if I don't have food prepped, I'll be like, okay, well this meal I'll just have a Lenny and Larry's cookie and milk, and then like my next meal is like a protein bar, and then my next meal is like, you know, just like something that's really quick but like not nutritious really, but it's still hitting my macros. So like I personally have struggled with that, and I've noticed like I can see like the trends, like if I don't have food prepped, like that's when I'll start doing that. And for me, like I like normally my pre-workout meal every day is a Lenny and Larry's cookie and Fairlife milk, but that's like my pre-workout, like sugar, high carbs, like that's what makes me feel the best when I train, because it doesn't fill me up too much either. I don't like to feel like full when I'm training, so that I always keep in every day. But as far as my other meals, like I try to eat very like nutritious foods, like big salads, or like I don't really like voluminous food, so I guess when it comes to salad, like it's kind of like if I'm trying to get my veggies in, because I don't necessarily like voluminous foods. I have so many calories throughout the day that like if I'm eating high volume foods, like out of my 4 meals of the day, like I'll have like 1,500 calories left over, and then I'm kind of like, okay, let me just go eat all the crap I have in my pantry because like I have to fill these calories. That's not smart either. So I guess the basis of what I'm saying is I understand those that have been through that when they switch to flexible dieting, of just kind of eating whatever because you can have it now. But that's not smart. You gotta think about your internal health. Like, yes, Cheetos won't ruin your physique goals, but what are they really like doing to your insides? Like what's really the chemicals that are put in all these processed foods, all these preservatives, things that really your body shouldn't be being fed, but because we've now labeled them as not a bad food, we think it's okay to just eat them all the time. And that's not really good for your internal health. Like I said, keep it around an 80, 85 to 20, 15 rule, because otherwise you're just gonna have so much freedom that most people take advantage of that and they try to just fit in like a ton of unhealthy food throughout the day. And even just like, you know, not good quality like deli meats, like stuff that even people would be like a normal meal, like you still have to have some common sense of like what is actually healthy for you versus like foods that are like made to look healthy, or foods that like you have now deemed healthy because you can eat them because you're a flexible dieter. So it's kind of just like not being like stupid with how you spend your macros and caring about your internal health. And I'm not trying to call anybody stupid, because I've dealt with this personally, and I still have those days where I struggle sometimes with like, you know, like not eating completely nutritious meals. So what's helped me in regards to that, and a way you can combat this disadvantage if it fits your macros or flexible dieting, is to just have like not necessarily prepped meals, because like I don't like to have pre-prepped meals just because like I don't know if I'm gonna like want that when it comes to that meal time. But having like pre-prepped like protein in bulk, like chicken or beef, egg whites maybe cooked ahead of time, or you know, like some vegetables cooked in bulk. Like that's the biggest thing probably, is having pre-cooked vegetables all laid out for you, because like vegetables for me, I know is like the least thing, like it's the least healthy thing like I don't want to eat. So for me, what I do is I buy either like frozen vegetables so I can heat them up really quick in like 3 minutes, or I buy like, you know, fresh vegetables and I just cook them ahead of time in like olive oil or coconut oil. That way, and I like measure that out. That way I can just kind of take it out throughout the week and like put it into meals, not necessarily like make exact meals. So that's like probably the biggest tip I can give you, is to just pre-prep like your staple foods in large quantities. That way throughout the week you can just make quick meals and not have to use like I don't have time as an excuse for why you're eating protein bars for every single one of your meals. So another tip on that is to just try to stay away from like don't buy unhealthy foods like you really don't want or don't need. Like for instance, when I used to get into flexible dieting, I used to like buy 5 boxes of Pop-Tarts just because I could have them, and I like never even liked Pop-Tarts growing up. So it's kind of like, why am I buying Pop-Tarts just because I see people like on social media eating them and like, oh, it's a quick carb source, but like I could have white rice or something healthier like pre-workout than like, you know, 2 Pop-Tarts. So like just try to not buy things that like, you know, like you really don't like and you're kind of just buying because you can have it with flexible dieting. So that's probably like the biggest thing, is just focus on like your internal health. Like I know for me, like I don't feel like, me personally, like I could eat crap food for like a week and I still like, I don't feel the effects of it when I'm training or anything. Like I don't My body doesn't like respond badly to unhealthy foods, I could say, like it's feeling wise, but like me mentally knowing I'm putting garbage into my body like just makes me feel so crappy, and I would rather feed my body with the best I possibly can, like organic, natural foods, and not use an excuse that I'm a flexible dieter to just eat junk all day. So that's probably my biggest tip in that area. The second thing I find wrong with flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, is that it can turn into an obsession. I know for me, when I first started flexible dieting, I was still not over my eating disorder, so I kind of masked my eating disorder, my orthorexia, with like fear of foods and obsessiveness with over-exercising and obsessiveness with what I ate, and to obsessiveness over numbers. So now I knew I wasn't restricted to the type of food, but now I was restricted to the amount. So I would be so obsessed with hitting like exact protein, carb, fat numbers that I would literally eat like a 4th teaspoon of coconut oil, like eat it just to like get a gram of fat for my day, or like just stupid things like that. Like even my boyfriend, like he'll talk, you know, about his struggles. Like he used to just drink like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of egg whites to like get 2 grams of protein. Like we were that obsessive with it. So that's when it becomes a problem, is when it's not necessarily allowing you freedom and you're becoming obsessive and a slave to tracking specific numbers every day, to the point where like you can't eat anywhere that doesn't have the nutritional info, or that you won't eat something untracked. Like I know that was a big fear of mine for a while, was like, you know, even though I was a flexible dieter, I like couldn't go out to a restaurant that like didn't have the nutritional info online, and I would actually like freak out and like not be able to eat there, because like mentally I was so scared that I was gonna like just gain a bunch of weight if I didn't know the exact numbers. So as far as that, like honestly, like the biggest way I got over that aspect of it was just forcing myself to eat at the places I couldn't track, to just sit there and go and eat and like force myself and be like, listen, Cassidy, like you can't do anything about this. Like you're gonna eat this food and you're gonna suck it up and you're gonna be fine the next day. And I would do that, and I would weigh myself the next day, and I was maybe a pound less than I was the day before, you know, or the same weight. So it's not gonna kill you. Like you have to understand that flexible dieting and tracking your macros, it's all estimation regardless. So whether or not you like, you know, you think you're being on target, like tracking a protein bar, like odds are when they make that protein bar, all of those macros are estimated anyways. So you have to just understand like that if it's your macros is a tool to teach you the right portions to eat intuitively. It is not the end all be all way you're gonna eat the rest of your life, because I know that when I am 30 and I have children, I am not going to be sitting there on my MyFitnessPal tracking every little thing I'm eating if I'm not in a contest prep. So it's really just understanding that food is fuel no matter what you're eating. But like I said, you do not want to fill up your body with junk food that, you know, you deem as, you think it's okay. Just eat whole nutritious foods. When you get a craving, eat what you're craving. Like honestly, just eat like a normal human being. That's the best way I can explain it.